What is up, heroes? It's Midnight Zero, and welcome to week 15 of the NCPL. Quick little announcement about why this match is late. Normally, I actually record these videos a week in advance. So I battle one weekend and then I upload it the following. But due to various delays, just in general, people being busy, not too big of a deal. We had to push back 1 week, and this match is being played a few days after the deadline for the previous week, simply because I'm in Japan now, I'm super busy, other people are busy with summer plans and all that. It just happens. To be honest, this is the last match of the season. I have clinched first place in the regular season, regardless of the outcome of this. The 6 people entering playoffs, which will be myself, Manu, coach of the Fresno Flygons, Sam, coach of the North Ants Ninetails, James, coach of the New England Nihilegos, Tyron, coach of the Salmon Arm Shuckles, and Noah, how could I forget Noah? Noah, coach of the Kamloops Carablast. Those will be the playoffs teams. This particular match does have a little bit of an influence. It determines the seeding of those bottom 4 spots, so it could be kind of important. That said, depending on the outcome, I could end up playing James again. So honestly, I've been really busy and I don't want to reveal all the tricks up my sleeve, so I'm just going to say take this team building with a grain of salt. And yeah, let's get into his team real quick. First up, he's got Tapu Koko. As you can see, he's had 21 kills with this thing throughout the season. Easily one of the top offensive mons in the league, one of the greatest in league format, in my opinion. Super fast, volt switch, momentum with U-turn, hits hard specs, scarf, life orb, great move pool. Not great move pool, really good enough move pool per se. And yeah, it's really strong, definitely a threat. Volcanion is really bulky while still hitting super hard, a base 130 special attack with great stabs in Flamethrower or Fire Blast, and Steam Eruption with access to other moves like Sludge Bomb, and because it is a Z-mon, Z Bloom Doom is definitely a threat and an option. Next up is Landorus Eye, which is also super threatening. That said, he doesn't get access to Sheer Force, making it a bit not as strong, to the point where it got banned like it did in OU, but definitely a threat nonetheless. He's used it quite a bit. Next up is Mega Aggron, his only steel type, which is worth noting. It's got an incredible base defense of 230. It's pretty weak on the special side. It can also hit decently hard coming off a base 140 attack. Definitely a bit of an overlooked threat in my opinion, so definitely going to want to watch out for it. Next up is Como, and Como is a bit of a jack of all trades, master of none. It can play pretty bulky roles, can play decently offensive roles, but not anything too powerful, so I'm not too afraid of it. But, of course, you can always make me eat those words. Next up is Decidueye. Decidueye is, in my opinion, one of, if not the best starters. Of this most recent generation, which isn't really, saying too much, but it's really cool in that it can baton pass, swords dance, nasty plot, agilities, in addition to trapping with Spirit Shackle. It's got decent offensive stats and, a little bit of decent bulk too, so it's, in my opinion, pretty good. He hasn't been using it too much though, so. Next up is Alolan Muck. Also, sorry, I apologize, I have a bit of a cold. I've been pretty intensely sick this past week, but regardless, Alolan Muck is, in my opinion, a really good Pokemon from like a bulky standpoint. It's got a great HP stat and Spit Def and really cool defensive typing that allows it to tank hits and get really important knockoffs, poison jabs in, both stab, and with that poison touch ability, really strong a really solid chance of poisoning the opponent. So, in my opinion, really good Pokemon, great pursuit user too, definitely a threat to look out for. Next up is Mesprit. I joked with James at the beginning of the season, as soon as he drafted, that Mesprit was trash. Mesprit is still trash. I hope that I'm able to show him that. Next up is Archeops. Archeops is really good when it's above 50% HP, but outside of that, it's not so hot. It's got a great attack stat, access to Stab, Head Smash, which is incredible, base 110 speed. It's a great lead rocker. That said, he's almost never used it, so not too sure I'll expect that this time around. But next up is Tauros. Tauros is a hidden gem, in my opinion, in the lower tiers because of sheer force, rock climbs, sheer force, fire blast, earthquakes. You throw a life orb on it, it's got a great speed tier and decent attack with solid move pool, so hits decently hard. Next up is Piloswine, and Piloswine is a Pokemon that he's been using a lot lately as his rocker, and that's kind of all it comes down to. That's all it's really good for, to be honest. Next up is Lilligant, and Lilligant is a Pokemon that I think is pretty scary. Any Pokemon that could actually take advantage of Quiver Dance is inherently scary in my opinion, so definitely going to be on the lookout for Lilligant setting up. Potential, Sleep Powder into Quiver Dance is scary, so definitely going to be on the lookout. Lastly, our Arbok and Pidgeot, he hasn't used them once. Because it's the last game of the season, he might bring them as a joke. So I will cover them. Arbok typically runs Coil, and that's kind of it. Pidgeot can run mixed sets, but like, I don't know, it's not that great. It's a cool speed tier at the very least. Yeah, that's kind of what it comes down to. He really likes Tapu Koko. He really likes his top 6, I guess is a good way to put it. You look at all of his usage, and he really likes these top 6. Maybe not Como as much, and maybe Piloswine or Muck instead, but that's all about I really see. He's got a good team. He's actually got a really good spread of typing, I'd say. The one thing I think that he's lacking is, a little bit more steel types. I'm a fan of my steel types, but he's got some good coverage. And for this team, I am bringing the following. So the first off, I want to say I built this really fast. I've been super swamped with my midterm for my summer class, my illness, wanting to enjoy Japan, Lizzie arriving, and just a whole bunch of stuff. And now I am admittedly a little bit more motivated than before. So I want to thank you guys for your guys' support on the past 2 battles. It's actually been really helpful, and it's really nice to see that people do enjoy watching those battles and care enough to comment on them. But yeah, this particular batch, it's not like the most important thing. I do want to win. I still want to win. I want to get pumped up for playoffs. I want to get back in the groove. But I did not spend a ton of time thinking about team building this week. I probably spent a grand total of 45 minutes, if that. So take that, or keep that in mind as I go through this team. You guys might think, why this, why that? And I said, and I'm just going to reply, it's kind of what I looked at his team and felt would do well. Is it the best? Is it optimized? No, it's not. But also at the same time, I have a better strategy in mind that I might want to save for the playoffs, because like I said, if I win this match, he will be the 6th seed, and as the 1st overall seed, after the first round of playoffs, which I have a bye during, I will play the lowest seed that won the first round of playoffs. And because I would force him into the 6th seed, I could potentially play him again as my first playoff match. I'm going to keep that strategy in the back. So regardless, we got Scizor. I wanted some physical defense, so I'm running max physically defensive Mega Scizor with Bullet Punch, U-Turn, SD, and Roost. After an SD, I'm still doing damage to just about everything. I take a lot of physical hits. I don't plan on taking a lot of hits from his special attackers, and what I do take special attacks from, I naturally resist anyway, so that's why I don't really worry about that. U-Turn is great for momentum this match, and Bullet Punch does decent damage to just about everything. So yeah, pretty bread and butter set. That's what this team is in a nutshell. You'll notice this team, the last week's team, I kind of just stuck to my guns, stuck to what I'm comfortable with, and saw if I can make it work. Next up, we got Scarf Chomp. Scarf Chomp, it hits a great speed tier, outspeeding Landorus I just barely. Lando I being a base 101 Pokemon. So we outspeed that Scarfed, we outspeed Tapu Koko. I definitely needed something to outspeed it, unless it is Scarfed itself, of course. I want to bring a ground type Pokemon for that electric immunity, and to threaten a lot of his Pokemon that are grounded, whether it's Koko, Aggron, Volcanion, Muck, etc. And because he only has one steel type, Outrage can do a ton of work after Aggron is gone, and Poison Jab is there to hit Tapu Koko, Lilligant potentially after one Quiver Dance 2, and yeah, for potential poison chances. Rock Slide is there in case I need to flinch. I didn't really have a 4th move that I think would be that great and accurate. I was considering Iron Tail or Aqua Tail, but I don't think they're really that worth it. So that's why Scarf Chomp is here, max attack just to do damage. Next up is Thunderous T. We are going to be hopefully doing some damage with this Thunderous T. We got Thunderbolt, Sludge Wave, Hidden Power, Ice, and Agility. Agility is there so that I can set up on things that would maybe want to Quiver Dance. I have leftovers that I can potentially switch in on a couple hits, potentially, Dazzling Gleams from Tapu Koko, and, Volt Absorb means he has to be a little bit wary about going for a Volt Switch and that sort of thing. Thunderbolt does a lot of damage to Volcanion and just about everything on his team. I don't get the Electric Terrain boost, sadly, but after an Agility, I pretty much 2 KO everything on his team, and if I get a little bit of chip on just about on a bunch of things, which is very doable with my team, I can knock things out with the combination of Sludge Wave, HP Ice, and Thunderbolt. So yeah, we have just enough speed to speed tie Lando I if it is max speed. So if that's absolutely necessary, he'd have to risk a speed tie and a Stone Edge to beat us, and we would knock him out with HP Ice guaranteed. So yep. Next up is Tangrowth. I'm running Assault Vest Tangrowth. You can probably notice that he's got a lot of special attackers. I mean, at least amongst his like more used Pokemon. This can be mixed. I mean, a lot of these mons can be mixed, but he's got a lot of threatening special attackers, in my opinion, with a lot more sweeping potential. And there's my team. So I want to bring Saltfest, Tangrowth, especially for Coco. If I don't want to play around with, risking Garchomp or Thunderous Tea, I can bring in Tangrowth. I can get off Giga Drains, Sludge Bombs, HP Ices, Earthquakes, just to get a little bit of chip damage on everything. His team doesn't have a lot of recovery, so I want to take advantage of that. And yeah. Next up is Bronzong. Bronzong is also max specially defensive to help out with Coco and his other mons. Anything that's physical. Landorus Eye, Como, Decidueye, except for Muck, Archeops, Tauros, Piloswine, Arbok. Bronzong doesn't even need the slightest bit of investment to deal with them. So I figured specially defensive is the way to go. Muck is a bit of a problem. It can pursue me, but it can't even poison me if it does do so. I can Toxic just about everything. What I don't, I can hit hard with Gyro Ball and Earthquake, and I want to get my rocks. I have Heat Proof so that I can potentially stay in on Volcanion and Toxic or Earthquake it for necessary damage. Yeah, I don't plan on staying in. I know Aggron can Earthquake me, but I don't plan on staying in with this against Aggron anyways, so it's not too big of a problem to me. Next up is Suicune. I was going to say Procoon because that's exactly what it is. It's Procoon. You guys have seen it before in action. It's, in my opinion, a great Suicune set. I couldn't really determine exactly what I wanted to do. I think Roar would be really good on this Suicune. I think Ice Beam would be really good on this Suicune. I think Rest Hawk would also be good, but I also think Procoon would be pretty good, and I want to have a little bit more of an offensive Suicune. And you're probably like, what, Procoon is an offensive Suicune? But no, rather than just Scald away, I like to substitute Calm Mind on anticipated switches and be able to set up alongside some things to potentially, have a sub up for Volt switches from Tapu Koko and set up, depends on what he brings. Depends on how much he brings for Suicune. If I sub up, I can, take a Bloom Doom from Volcanion, for example, and deal with that. The physical defense is there pretty much for Archeops and for Mega Aggron, very much for Mega Aggron to help out Landorus Eye and Como as well. Muck is a bit of a threat to this team, and Lilligant can put in work too, depending, if it's HP Fire, if it's HP Ice, but, either way, then, either Scizor or Garchomp lives one of its hits. I do think this team is lacking a bit of offensive output, so I'm going to have to rack up a lot of chip damage. I might have to get an SD in order to win with Scizor. I might have to sack my Scarf Chomp to just put a dent in something. I'm going to have to set up, and only doing so after having gotten a sufficient amount of chip damage on things. So plan is to get up my rocks early and whittle away until either Scarf Chomp or Scizor can win. But that's the battle plan. Again, I feel a lot better about my battle, attitude, passion, whatever you want to call it, in general, now that my number one cheerleader is here with me. And yeah, I hope you guys are looking forward to it. I hope you guys are getting hyped for the playoffs. I'll probably do a video next week during my bye week to just chat about the playoffs a bit. So you guys can look forward to that. And I'll see you guys in the battle. But until then, this is Moon Knight Zero, and this mission is complete.